Hey, this is ÄleXǝər, founder of Subtext Radio.
This is Subtext.
Please go ahead and click the like button and the subscribe button. It really helps us to reach new audiences and promote the artists that we work with. Hit like and hit subscribe. Okay, thank you for joining us this morning. Thank you, Zane, for that show. That was amazing. Ich würde nichts zu lang sagen, aber ganz kurz, ich bin mit dir auf deiner Heimatmeinung und wir haben mehr von diesem Thema später heute. The next track, the next show in fact, is the second weirding module from Nathan Gray. It's a huge privilege to have another piece of work from him, and he'll be with us live next month, but for now, I hope you enjoy.
Hello and welcome to the weirding module part 2. We're going to have a slightly different format today. The first weirding module is a mix that you can find on Mixcloud, but today I will be pursuing more of a radio show kind of format. The weirding module is a show that looks at speech in the context of experimental sound. And the first piece I'm going to play is by Ingevold Lund, and it introduces itself, so I'll just let you hear it.
This audio tour is a work by Ingevold Lund. Additional sounds were created and mixed by Claire Tolan. The total duration of the tour is 1 hour. The tour has adult content, and it is intended to be listened to in the public realm. If you're underage, please refrain from listening. When in the public realm, always remember to respect the privacy of other people. Riding so slowly it hurts. You're now sitting on a train. The train is drawing a line around the city, you being placed on the outer edge. If you live in this city, it is likely that sitting on this train, you're circling most people you know. I myself very rarely step outside the line drawn up by this train. Some days, when sitting on a seat like the one you're sitting on right now, I think of the people living on the inside of this line as my friends. People I hang out with. People I share my secrets with. The people on the outside of the line I think of as strangers. People I have yet to meet. I like, she said, when men move their lips slightly apart. You know, when you can see the wetness from the inside of their mouth, like when they concentrate on something, or when they come. No men come with their mouth closed. Sometimes, at night, when listening to the sounds of the city, I feel like if the city is whispering to me, caressing me with its sounds. The soft, almost silent humming of the trains far away. The cars passing on the street outside. The electric current summing. Nothing ever stops. I do not like to travel by public transport, she said. It is not the time that it takes, nor the noise that is always present. I looked at her. When I take a seat in a cart, I cannot help but look at all the other people. And looking at them, I see all their movements, their chests lifting, their stomachs that follow the movement of their chests, as the air they breathe goes deeper into their lungs. On hot days, I can see the veins on people's hands, enlarged by the heat. They beat as the blood flows through them. transporting oxygen from the heart to the other parts of the body. Everywhere this surrounds me. Even large men with crude motor skills have these tiny movements. She pointed at her own body. The soft jersey of her t-shirt moved slightly at every heartbeat. Before the fabric stopped moving from one beat of the heart, another beat followed. It makes me so tired, she said. Turn your attention towards the cart you're in. Look at the walls. Look at the roof. Look at your fellow passengers. Look at the way their clothes fall on their bodies, their pants, their t-shirts, their shirts, their sweaters, their sneakers, their leather shoes. What is your favorite fantasy? I asked her. I do not know, she answered. Some passengers are wearing clothes that have faded by being worn around the city, day after day. You have to say something, I said. Do you want me to say something exciting? She asked. You can say anything you want, I answered. You are wearing a faded blue shirt, she said. It is buttoned up all the way. I move as close as I can to you without touching you. I can feel your warm breath against my neck. With my right hand, I unbutton your top button. I have not told you, but you know you're not supposed to touch me. You're standing still, breathing heavy warm breaths of air on my neck, while I slowly, one hand only, unbutton the rest of your shirt. Is that it? I asked. Yes, she answered. Look at how the older clothes of the passengers are permanently shaped by the body who wears it. Look at how it tears where it sits too tightly, or where it brushes off and against something, like on the knees, or the inside of the thighs.
My voice is coming to you from the inside of this telephone box.
It is February 2017 in central London. We've now entered a totally new era of eavesdropping. I'm speaking to you from the inside of what is the last standing of London's classic red telephone boxes. Since mobile telephones, these spaces for speech have been in deep decline, being now almost solely reserved for those most anonymous of telephonic acts. Yet those coming in here in an effort to avoid having their voices traced, identified, or captured might think twice, as right now you are hearing my voice that is being recorded by a new piece of urban surveillance infrastructure, the laser mic. You see, my voice inside this box is moving around the air, and then that air is moving the window panes. The The laser beam is imperceptibly pointing at the exterior surface of the window and is being moved ever so slightly as my voice makes the window vibrate. By reading the tiny movements of the laser beam on the exterior surface of the glass, this technology then can record whatever sound happens in the interior of this space. It's not the telephone line then, but the minutely vibrating architecture of the telephone box that is recording my every word. Many of us who are sensitive to sound first heard about this technology in 2011 when it was used on the windows of Osama bin Laden's Abbottabad compound. Using this technology, they were able to hear inside that compound and from a great distance identify his voice and confirm his presence. We were amazed by this technology then. Now it is installed on gyroscope mounts atop every lamppost in the city, penetrating into the interior of almost every room with a window. We are less than impressed. 2017 2017 is indeed the first year where we are truly forced to consider the sonic footprint or imprint we are leaving on the world around us. It was not the window panes and laser microphones that were responsible for this acoustic revolution. What really changed the way we were being heard in 2017, what really inaugurated this new era of listening, and what really changed the way we spoke to each other, can be traced to a series of experiments at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. First heard about these experiments led by Abe Davis in the summer of 2014. His experiments used the same principle of vibration as the laser mic, but this time to turn almost all objects that surround us into microphones. Objects like a potted plant, a box of tissues, the foil wrapper of a Lindt chocolate bar, and a bag of potato chips. Because they were reading the vibrations of our speech from the surface of these objects by using high-speed video, they initially called this invention the visual microphone. Now we simply accept that almost all things can behave like microphones, and so no distinct term for these everyday objects is required. The way objects are made nowadays has become a sensitive topic of conversation, and everything in the world is now judged by its fidelity as an audio recording device. For example, the most high fidelity of all visual microphones is the bag of potato chips. That most ubiquitous of snacks has become totally feared by the criminal underworld, as its wrapper is both flimsy and reflective, impressionable but not absorbent. Yet these objects never give a crystal clear clarity of sound reproduction. There is always other noises that they produce in excess of the sound stored on their surface. This sound has come to be known as the object's sonic color, or its individual voice. And herein lies the true revolution of our relationship to objects in 2017. For it is now not only that we are being heard by objects, but for the first time we can hear the voices of the objects themselves. This has led to the beginnings of a new language, and a new vocabulary of object sounds is emerging. A new way of hearing our world. Yet what I have observed is that the more surveillance increases, the less we are actually listening to each other. Yes, our voices can be plucked out from the surface of objects, amplified, singled out, and listened to at any time, but when we want to speak to the state, in those rare moments where we actually want our voices to be heard, it seems we fall on deaf ears. Let me give you an example. Say I'm looking out onto the street through the window panes of this very telephone box, and I see a car crash. No, I see a hit and run. I would then pick up this telephone receiver and call the emergency services. Thanks to the new technology called the traumometer, developed by Delft University and implemented across Europe in 2016, my call would not be put forward to an emergency call operator, but rather to an algorithmic listening software that would determine the priority of my call depending on the level of stress that it detects in my voice. The idea behind that is that the more stressed I am, the more my voice fluctuates in pitch. These micro fluctuations, undetectable by the human ear, is what is then used to measure the severity of the incident I have witnessed. My stress levels determine my position in the emergency call queue and how long it will take for my call to be answered. My witness testimony has been reduced to a sum total of muscular tension audible in my vocal cords. In 2017, I am but the tiny jittering oscillations of my larynx.
Okay, that last piece was called Shudder the Thought, a near-future fiction in stereo sound by Lawrence Abu Hamdan. You can listen to that on his SoundCloud or go to lawrenceabuhamdan.com. The piece deals with a laser microphone, an emerging technology. It was recorded partly with this technology, and this technology will is predicted to create a new paradigm in surveillance with normal everyday objects that move, such as window panes and tissues in tissue boxes, being able to be translated back into sound from their tiny movements as they're stimulated by the echoes of one's voice. And before that, we had Riding So Slowly It Hurts by Inger Vold Lund. Inger is a writer from Norway, and this piece was done with the help of Claire Tolan. It's an ASMR kind of style piece designed to be listened to on the Ringbahn train, the S41, S42 that circles Berlin, and it deals with this in an erotic manner. I edited this before it gets too hot, but it gets very sexy and it goes for an entire hour. And I personally look forward to the opportunity of listening to it while I travel the entirety of the Ringbahn. I've come into contact with the works of Lawrence Abu Hamdan and Inger Vold Lund quite recently from events that are either coming or have just been in Berlin. Lawrence's work generally deals with acoustic jurisprudence or sound in the law, and I saw a show of his at DAAD Gallery here called Walled and Unwalled, which finished in October. He was also part of the Eavesdropping show at the Ian Potter Museum, which was a collaborative curatorial endeavour between Liquid Architecture and the Melbourne School of Law, curated by Joel Stern and James Parker. Very interesting artist who's around a lot at the moment. Inger I've come into contact with because she is performing soon in Berlin on January 20th as part of the CTM Vorspiel program, and that will be at West Germany. I first became aware of this next piece from a lecture by Herman Bolin in a show at the HKV called Radiophonic Spaces. Radiophonic Spaces is a show that is still on, and it concentrates on radio plays. and a particularly important tradition in Germany that continues to this day. Hermann Bohlen is a radio producer himself, and he presented a lecture called Unbesetzbares Funktheater, meaning untranslatable radio. And this piece is by Rohr Wolf. It's called Der Ball ist rund, which it's a kind of a typological catalogue of German football commentary. Enjoy.
Radiocollage 9. Der Ball ist rund.
Ball, 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 Ball,
Ball, Ball,
Ball, Ball, Ball,
Ball.
Ja, meine Damen und Herren, das ist das Geräusch, das Sie alle lieben. Es geht gleich los. Es beginnt. Wir werden wohl beginnen. Wieder einmal herzlich willkommen zu unserer aktuellen Nachmittagssendung. Ich darf Sie sehr herzlich begrüßen.
Es geht sofort los bei uns.
Und ich begrüße Sie. Es ist soweit.
In diesem Augenblick ist es soweit.
Und zwar jetzt in jedem Augenblick. Jetzt geht es los. Fertig. Und es geht ab. Die Mannschaften haben das Spielfeld betreten in blauen Jerseys und in weißen Hosen.
Sie tragen ein mittelblaues Trikot, eine weiße Hose und rote Stutzen. Hellblau, dunkelblau die Hose.
In weißen Hemden und schwarzen Hosen.
Mit roten Hemden, weißen Hosen und roten Stutzen.
Blaues Hemd, weiße Hose, rote Stutzen.
Ich hatte es angedeutet, im grünen Trikot, in den weißen Hosen, in den grünen Stutzen.
Olivgrüne Hosen und weiße Stutzen.
Mit den roten Stutzen und den roten Hemden und den weißen Hosen.
Mit grünen Hemden, weißen Hosen und grünen Stutzen.
Den weißen Hemden also, den schwarzen Hosen, den weißen Stutzen.
Ganz in weiß, auch mit weißen Stutzen, in langen, dunkelroten Samtgewändern, bunten Strümpfen, bunten Röcken und Blusen.
In weißen Hosen und in orangefarbenen Stutzen, in weiß und schwarz.
In rot und blau.
Mit orangefarbenen Regenschirmen, orangefarbenen Fahnen und Schirmmützen.
In roten Hemden und schwarzen Hosen. Und während die Musikkapelle hier das Stadion verlässt, kommen die Schweizer, die uns so oft die Hand gereicht haben. In ihren roten Hemden und den weißen Hosen.
Und roten Stutzen.
Nun warten wir ab, was heute daraus wird.
Der Ball liegt bereit.
Der Ball ist rund.
Der Ball ist rund.
Der Ball ist rund.
Er stellt hier wahrlich das bisher Gesehene gründlich auf den Kopf. Aber was soll's? Der Ball ist rund, ganz gleich was auch immer, jedenfalls ja.
Das mag's gewesen sein. Bis später, wir hören uns dann wieder.
Was ist?
Das Spiel hat noch nicht begonnen. Das ist natürlich eine äußerst ungünstige Ausgangsposition. Ich kann Ihnen nicht sagen, warum es noch nicht beginnt. Und jetzt wird es gleich losgehen. Wollen wir sehen, ob wir den Anpfiff noch mitbekommen hier. Aber es ist noch nicht so weit. Nun, wir werden uns ja dann gleich wieder melden. Ich gebe erst einmal zurück ins Funkhaus.
Nun warten wir ab, was heute daraus wird.
Was ist?
Man zeigt hoffnungsfrohe Ansätze. Die Bälle werden jetzt, zumindest der Ball wird jetzt zurechtgelegt.
Jetzt kommt Werder nach vorne mit Bracht. Bracht mit Schmitz. Schmitz mit Schmitz. Schmitz, ein kleiner schwarzhaariger Mann mit dem gerade erwähnten Dubski. Jetzt Wimmer. Sie wissen, eines Tages wird er zwar aufhören, aber man wird ihn dann vermissen.
Als niemand ihn erwartete, stürzt aus der Tiefe, wirklich aus der Tiefe, Deiner nach vorne.
Na, was der heute läuft. Der rennt hinten, vorn, quer, wo er eben gerade gebraucht wird, da ist er. Schnellfüßig auf dem nassen Boden. Quer und etwas nach rückwärts.
Oder ein wenig weiter davor oder dahinter.
Überlegt und gekonnt, eiskalt an ihm vorbei, unhaltbar. Halb hoch. Das wirkt rhythmisch, das wirkt wuchtig, das peitscht die Spieler nach vorn.
Sie versuchen durch die Mitte zu laufen und wenn man durch die Mitte läuft, dann läuft man doch wie in einen Trichter hinein.
Und dann schlendern sie ganz gemächlich durch den eigenen Raum und das dauert, das dauert.
Sie sind manchmal so erstaunt, so als ob sie türkische Schnabelschuhe anhätten.
Sehr schön gemacht, aber das schade, das ging schief. Wenn ich sage schade, dann meine ich, das geht vorsichtig, tastend, sehr schön.
Und ich sehe soeben, dass, oder vielmehr höre, dass...
Was ist?
Gemach, liebe Freunde. Ich sehe soeben, dass, oder vielmehr höre...
Koitka tanzt wieder da hinten hin und her. Mehr Rasse als Klasse.
Das sieht alles ganz nett aus, das kennt man ja. Das kann sich auch widerlegen. Und Koitka in die tiefstehende Sonne schauen, mit einer Mütze im Gesicht, weil er ja gegen die tiefstehende Sonne schauen muss. Deshalb hat er sich also eine Mütze aufgezogen.
Koitka, der wahrlich nicht mehr allzu viel zu tun hat, schaut sich jetzt die Situation in gebückter Haltung an. Weit runterhängend seine Strümpfe.
Da greift er sich an den Kopf mit dem rechten Fuß.
Der Mann, der noch die sauberste Hose anhat.
Auf den Kopf, von da auf den Fuß und wieder auf den Kopf. Nachdem die Hertaner ihm Zentimeter hart auf den Füßen stehen.
Doch damit genug, kehren wir in die Gegenwart zurück, wo inzwischen die Sonne hinter einem Dunstschleier verschwunden ist, so als wenn gar nichts gewesen wäre. Das habe ich in dieser konsequenten Form auch noch nicht gesehen.
Man fragt sich tatsächlich, wie lange geht sowas eigentlich gut? Auf jeden Fall heute noch.
Ganz gleich, was auch immer, jedenfalls ja.
Der Ball wandert heraus, der Ball streicht, der Ball rollt,
der Ball klatscht, der Ball rutscht, der Ball wird noch einmal abgetropft,
der Ball krachte gegen die Latte.
Und der Ball läuft an ihm vorbei. Wie an der Schnur gezogen, fliegend läuft der Ball. Und der Ball streicht vorüber.
Und dann biegt sich förmlich Cargus hinein in den Ball.
Als ihm der Ball aus dem Ärmel herausrollte.
Der Ball war ganz tückisch geworden. Dann ist der Ball zu lang geworden. Der Ball ist zu kurz geworden.
Der Ball, wie gesagt.
Jetzt tanzt der Ball ein wenig.
Der Ball tanzte nur und über dieses Tanzen des Balles hörten sie nichts mehr im Freudentaumel.
Und dann knallte der Ball.
Jetzt machen wir ein paar Takte Musik und dann geht's weiter.
What's like the heat in the who then the of that you up in the positivism in the who falling thing listening to in the do that was well, we are answering our reading. I'm ready to wasting and fitting in the seeking a politicity, futurity, and prosperity, and regarding the land history, but who holds he and policy, and that being. That be in that people might really prove in that people in that influencing in that star and to blending in that they see into and that far reality and prestige and also integrated and breathing tea. And no that's he in the heat going bra to like a civility it's very imperfect like food but it is that lichity it rapidity protruity and everything that was the reason. But basically, I put that in the but he'll be less pretty and pretty heat the pretty and bloody and the receiving and the receiving. And the very rapid to heat like a cacticurity hitty correct to he, cacturity hip through the heat left it to re, and the pretty heat to re, it took that to it, that way to receive, and did the not best, that take, that moment, tea food, the very saint priest, but I was with Rocky, I read the paper she, that priest voice raising, it's very like a fearful, with Rocky. No, there. You never get to be. That way to write to eat that litty can that do too far. tu ha ti tu da li da particularly that it was a faith gotten that. And the was this no that going to receive. And this to consultatively and ferocity do the good water and the good to break strategy but put good resta. But there is that it's a subtlety. Something right, like you know, the but sticking the and you that niti itariti, property to put promptity la but that was good like you like like a potato. It's right, driver. I think then let me put the at the 50th type. The period on what's the rest? Liberty to root to ristic for kiki, civility, subletity, like papu, la, pu, la, lulu, la, lu, tu. That it is he. Like it's that, it's still going to read. Naps into the future. You will read it, right? I thought it is. But pretty long. But he, on the knee. Nothing then doing to the ability to prove total perfecting, facilitism, I need to see them, I need to see them. In the that it worked. I thought it's rapid. The matter he periods to be to writing to and he did that and wrote that it was a deck and you know he about here to him.
Okay, that last piece was by Mikiko Yamamoto. I'm not sure what the title of that is. She sent it to me after a recent performance in ACCA, Melbourne's Australian Centre for Contemporary Art, part of a series called Departed Acts, and that was the fourth of those events. It's an event, it's kind of lecture performances where people are asked to respond to a pivotal piece of artwork. Mikiko's work in general hovers between intelligibility and nonsense, and that was a particularly good example.
Number and I'll get in touch with you. Bye.
At the time you were shooting, the triangle in the upper right are all the techniques used in editing a barber. Remove a cartridge from the barber. Rotate the scale reading before lifting the cartridge from the barber. The single limitation common to all barbers is unimportant at the beginning of any scene. The model 1235, moreover, is 18 frames between this point and the frame showing the barber. At any time, you can find out how much barber has been exposed by examining the barber's jacket. There is a simple remedy. After cutting the barber's jacket, picture a hammer. 18 hammers hitting one nail of unwanted sound. All the techniques used in editing a silent barber.
You have one new voice message. Received at 4:13 p.m.
At the time you were shooting, the triangle in the upper right are all the techniques used in editing a barber. Remove a cartridge from the barber. Rotate the scale reading before lifting the cartridge from the barber. The single limitation common to all barbers is unimportant at the beginning of any scene. Model 1235, moreover, is 18 frames between this point and the frame showing the barber. At any time, you can find out how much barber has been exposed by examining the barber's jacket. There is a simple remedy. After cutting the barber's jacket, picture a hammer. 18 hammers hitting one nail of unwanted sound. All the techniques. All the techniques used in editing a silent barber.
To return the call, press 6. To transfer this message, press 4. To delete, press 3. To replay, press message deleted. There are no more messages. To listen to saved messages, press 7. For you.
Loss to me is losing someone very close to you, and I lost both my grandparents by the time I was 25. Lost itself is being somewhere you don't know where you are, to me. And I continually feel like that constantly, all the time, every day. I know where I am in the world, but the same day I still do feel lost. Everything's new, everything's different. Everything changes. But lost in all entirety is a feeling. You feel lost, like I feel lost.
dark. Interaction. The world does not exist. So tidy the hostess of information processed by the mind. We postmatize information, words into objects. Rearrangement of objects is change in the content of the information, the mind. The message has changed. It's called this is the language which we have lost the ability to read. We ourselves are part of this language. Changes in us are changed in the content of the information, because we ourselves to our content rich. So information enters us, is processed, and is then projected outward once more. Now, in altered form, we are not aware the universe that we are doing this, that in fact this is all we are doing. Is 36. In summary, thoughts of the brain or experience, thoughts, biases, arrangements and rearrangements, biases, changes and rearrangements in the physical universe change. But in fact, it is really information and information processing which receptors analyze, we do not merely see its thoughts as objects, but rather as the moon. We did not fall because of moral error. We fell because of an intellectual error, that of taking the phenomenal world as real. Therefore, we are morally innocent. It is The empire in its various disguised polyforms that tell us we have seen. The empire never ended. The mind is complete. The outer release of which we are passing. The origin of the word idiot is the word private. Each of us has become private and no longer shares the common thought of the brain, except as a subliminal level. That's our real life and purpose are conducted below our thresholds of consciousness. Phosphine activity, I said. In the readiness of the audience. That's what you mean. That's what laser plays such a role in the film. Laser beams fire in all directions. The audio track undergoes a sinister transformation. Just watch.
Hej, co to? Czy to drzewo? Czy szumi tu coś z tego? Pod rozpierzchłym rozgałęzieniem drzewa schował się człowiek przed wichurą. Szum.
Welcome back from that long set of low energy spoken word experimental music. The set began with Matthew Revert on his 2015 album Not You. The track was called Remedy, and that was released by Kai, the record label of Graham Lamkin that is now defunct. The second track we heard was Graham Lamkin himself with Jason Lescalit from their 2013 Photographs album, and that was the first track called Loss. Then we heard from Matthew P. Hopkins, also known as Matthew Hopkins or MP Hopkins, an Australian who also has had releases on Kai. This track was a track from the Calls tape that was released in 2016 by Thalamos, and it was called In a Poem. We then went into Felicia Atkins from her Hand in Hand record, a track called Valis, released in 2017 by Shelter Press, her own record label and book imprint. We then heard from musician Alex Lee and Polish linguist and poet Nicole Wojcik, a track called Shum. That track is unreleased, but those guys will be playing with me, as well as Inga Vold-Lund, who you heard at the start of the whole show, at West Germany on the 20th of January for the CTM Transmediale Vorspiel. We will also all be playing with the amazing Lucy Lepard collaboration between artist Hannah Lepard and artist Lucy Dayhue. Finally, in that set, we heard two tracks, one from Stephen Warwick, his 2016 Pan record called Nader, and the track was called Mezzanine, and then it ended with possibly the weirdest track that I've played all day, Long Bus Ride from Terry Riley, his autobiographical Tales from 1996, which was released on Zadok. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a very strange record. That is all I have for you today because I'm out of time, but I have a lot more to play, and I will talk to you again in January. Thank you very much for your time. Have a nice day.